Hey, Jules Blessed Vegan, and as always, thank you so much for stopping by. And for those who are new, welcome. So, I wanted to talk about lack of sleep. This is my hotness on an hour and 45 minutes. So, I kind of pulled an all nighter to get those report cards done, which is all because of my own procrastination and my perfectionism. And so, I guess in the last 45 hours, I don't know, 48 hours, whatever. I've slept an hour and 45 minutes. Do I look tired? I think I pulled it off. The problem is I will want to crash and sleep in the morning, but I do not have that grace because, as Don's Happier says, good teachers lend themselves even further. So, of course, I will be teaching Saturday school. So that I can fall into that category of good teachers. Oh my goodness. So I do ask for prayer that I can be just as enthusiastic and lovely tomorrow morning when the tiredness will hit me even more. But I assure you, it didn't stop me from doing my rebounder for the Dawn's Happier Rebounder Challenge. I got in my 27 minutes. I did my arm exercises. I ate correctly all day. The kitchen is closed. And I'm thrilled because even though I didn't sleep, hour and 45 minutes at best, I did all that was expected of me today. And because I was so darn busy, not only submitting report cards, but correcting them as quickly as the principal gave them back, trying to, fix this and whatever, that I didn't even eat. I did remember to drink water. But finally, at like 3 o'clock, I had my lunch, which were a bunch of delicious oranges and essentially a mono meal. And they were so luscious and amazing and just bursting with juice in my mouth. I was so grateful. And then when I got home, of course, because I hadn't stayed ahead of the hunger curve, when I got home, I was immediately feeling compulsive. Everything that does not belong to me seemed magnified, super bright, and incredibly tempting. And then all of a sudden, I went through all my negotiating about maybe I'm going to eat something that is cooked. Maybe I'm going to do this, what am I going to do that? Luckily, I got on the rebounder. I did my exercise. And by the end, I had calmed down. And I had realized that none of that is life-giving, that I had everything for a phenomenal salad. Don't even get me started on how delicious it was. And I made a gigantic salad with salsa as the dressing, and I even put some pepperoncinis. I went for broke, and I ate that salad. Oh my goodness. I had a little avocado. It was phenomenal. And I could just taste all of it. And I just kept saying, Father, are you kidding me? I was going to cook something over this? So no. Oh my gosh, it was really fantastic. And I'm not saying that I will never eat cooked food. I'm just saying I'm preferring raw, and as I get my weight off, it is my desire to stay on that course. But I have certainly no problem with people eating some cooked food. And I know some people were saying they live in colder regions, and so there's a desire for that. But I know Ted Carr, C-A-R-R, is it C-A-R? Yeah, but Ted with one D and then double R. Or even Miss Tanny Raw. Those people live in very cold places, but Ted lives in Canada, as does Lissa's Raw Food Romance. And my goodness, if you want to be on an ice cube, Canada is the place, and they totally just drink hot water. They don't make their food hot. They drink hot water, their body warms up, and they're stoking life. So that's just a tip if you're not sure. So anyway, what I wanted to talk about was stepping up my raw vegan lifestyle by making sure that I am doing cruelty-free products in my life. And unfortunately, it's very difficult to ensure that something is cruelty-free because with all the little laws and manipulation, they can kind of determine to what extent they're torturing animals or at what stage they're torturing animals. Or like for me, one of my favorites, dare I say, is Crest. I have been a Crest girl my whole life. Look, Mom, no cavities. I Crest all my life. Sadly, Crest test on animals. not in the United States, only in China, blah, blah, blah. But you know what? There's a lot of sneaky parent companies out there, and they're spending our money on animal cruelty. So I stepped up and got Tom's, if you're familiar, Tom's of Maine. And this is peppermint. I'm just starting, and I'm going to try and trust the process because I even stepped up more. Instead of just getting Tom's, I got Tom's with no fluoride. And you know, part of that is because as I was doing my research, it turned out that even Arm & Hammer baking soda tests on animals. I know a lot of you guys use baking soda. I don't know if your brand doesn't, but Arm & Hammer is one of the most popular of all time, and they use their money for animal testing. I was so bummed. So no fluoride, because I'm thinking, why even have a little poison if I can avoid it? And we're just going to have to see how it rides. I think God's on the case. Okay, so anyway, as always, I found a fantastic article, which I will include in the description of this video, so you do not need to take notes. It's called Everyday Brands That Test on Animals and Their Cruelty-Free Alternatives, which I always appreciate. Like, don't just sit there telling us the problem if you have no solution. This offers some solutions. But humor me while I read the first paragraph to you. I am a teacher. I think I can do it. So it says, each year more than 100 million animals are abused through animal testing in labs in the United States. That's 100 million defenseless mice, rats, fish, dogs, cats, birds, and non-human primates, to name a few, that are burned, poisoned, crippled, and experimented on every single year. So I was like, how do you explain 100 million? You know, in third grade, we write it on the board and we see all the zeros following it, but we don't really have a sense of 100 million. So I was like, well, what if you just started counting? So if you just started counting 1, 2, 3, and you basically say a number every second, right? To get to 100,000, it would take 70 hours. 70 hours with a number every single second for 70 hours. That's like 42,000 minutes, right? Don't make me do the math. Did I mention I didn't sleep? Sorry, my phone's shaking, but let me think about that because I do know that math. So, give me a second, people. 70 hours, 60 minutes in an hour, 7 times 6 is 42, but it's 70, it's only 4,200 minutes? Yeah, 4,200 minutes, that's all. It's still a lot. It's a lot, okay? If that gives you any sense of how big 100 million is, 70 hours of counting, let's just not do it. So anyway, this person did a bunch of research, and she was just like, there's a very short list of actual cruelty-free products, because she was saying, as I suggested, that she found out that cruelty-free can mean many things, and animals are still being abused. So, like I said, my Crest, which I love so much, was a shock. Another one, Clinique, which, I mean, it just seems so pure. I love Clinique. A little more expensive. People, you know how low maintenance I am. Seriously, do you think I do anything? I don't do anything. I use water in the shower, and then I put on coconut oil, and may that never be cruelty-based. That's it. That's my whole beauty regimen. So, but when I was younger, I used Clinique. And when I was younger, before my asthma and allergies to the world kicked in around like 23, I used to wear makeup and perfume all the time, and I dug it. So anyway, this article totally gives you a bunch of alternatives. And luckily, some of them you can find in the drugstore. I'm just seeing what this is a second. One thing I was happy to find out, though, and I'm just totally stoked, because this is a product I used years ago, and then I got, you know, cheaper or whatever, but I've always enjoyed Paul Mitchell. And luckily, Paul Mitchell, tell me I'm right, hold on, I don't want to mislead you or me. Other hair care brand and products on the list include Got to Be, Head and Shoulders, Suave, John Frieda, and Herbal Essence. It's a 10, Paul Mitchell, Lush, and Yes to Carrots. How cute is that? Yes to Carrots are all cruelty-free. Thank you, Father. So when my shampoo from the dollar store runs out, I'm going to do Paul Mitchell. You know what? I'm not going to throw a bunch of stuff out. Just like Tanny Rod didn't throw out that leather couch for a long, long time because she didn't want to add insult to injury. I'm going to use my product, and then I will just make better choices. I started with my toothpaste, but then I will go on to shampoo and all the other things. So I just wanted to make that goal and just remind people that unfortunately it's the way of the world right now, that poor little animals are being abused. And if we can be even more pure in our quest to honor all beings, all living beings, let's go ahead and look at the products we're using. All right, people, as usual, like if you like, join us if you haven't. Let me know in the comments below what you're thinking. If there's some product that you're going to finish up before you make a better choice, anything like that, I'd love to support you. And best of all, my friends, be blessed.